Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to do some examples of using the quadratic formula. Now, first thing with the quadratic formula, we have to remember to have it in its standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, don't be intimidated by the a, b, or c. Those are going to be numbers, and you can kind of see that in the first example I have below. The big thing is, in order to use the quadratic formula, we need to have it set equal to 0. So everything has to be on one side. Now, what the quadratic formula does for us is it's going to help us find solutions for our quadratic equation. What will let it equal 0? And we want to use it whenever we cannot factor or solve by by taking the square root. All right, and so it's just a formula where we plug and chug in a bunch of numbers. Once we get used to it, it gets a little bit easier. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples right here below us. All right, so this first one, what we need to do is identify what is A, B, and C. So A in this problem is equal to 2, B is 7, and C is equal to -2. Now what I'm going to do is plug those numbers into my formula right up here. And so when I go for negative B, that's going to be -7 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So b is 7, so b squared is going to be 49 minus 4 times my a value, which is 2, times my other a value, which is -2, all over 2 times my a value, which is 2. All right, now I have to work on crunching my numbers here a little bit. And so let's see what I end up getting. -7 plus or minus the square root of 49, oops, that's a bad 4, 49. And then what I see here is a -4 and a -2. When I multiply them together, that's going to give me a positive sign. And then I have 4 times 2, which is 8, times 2 again is 16. So I'll be adding 16 all over 4. All right, go one step further. Excuse me. -7 plus or minus, and then I add 16 and 49, so 49 plus 16. That's going to give me 5, carry the 1, 65. The square root of 65 all over 4. All right, this right here is my answer. And in there are two answers. So we have the version that has the plus, and we have the version that has the minus. Now, sometimes you might be asked for a decimal equivalent. So in order to do that, I'm going to show you using Desmos's scientific calculator. And so for the first one, I'm going to type in -7. And since this is going to be a fraction, I'm going to get a fraction bar going. So let me do that first, actually. All right, so -7 plus square root 65 all over 4. Excuse me. So one of my decimal equivalent answers is going to be 0.27 if I round it. Then the other one is going to be the same thing except -7 minus the square root of 65 all over 4. And so the other one is -3.77 if we round that. And then there are my two answers. Okay? Now, let's do the same thing over here. So what I'm going to do is actually show you how we can just even type this all into a calculator if we just need to get the decimal equivalent. So again, I want to identify what I have. So A is equal to 2, B is equal to -9, and C is equal to 9. And what I need to do is put that formula, -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So going to my calculator, get my fraction bar going here. I am going to start off with -b, so that's going to be +9 plus the square root of b squared, which is going to be 81, minus 4 times 2 times 9. All of that over 2a, so that's 2 times 2. Well, I found one of my answers. It's going to be 3. Now, I take this and I essentially just type it in again. 9 oops, let me get a fraction going here. 9 minus the square root of 81 minus 4 times 2 times 9 all over 4. And then that's going to give me 1.5. And there we go. And I guess what that means is that if I wanted to, I could have actually factored this one. And so the quadratic formula will always work, but sometimes it's best suited for when we can't factor, or maybe factoring just seems too complicated. So anyways, I hope this example video has kind of showed you what it is you need to do and how you can go about using the quadratic formula to help you get solutions.